Hi, my name is Bret Fetzer, and I'm a writer and director of film and theater, and a storyteller, but that's not why I'm here to talk to you right now. I'm here to talk to you because I'm also a 54-year-old heterosexual middle-class white male. I am not Christian, but aside from that, I am about as privileged as it's possible to be in the United States. I did a lot of shoplifting when I was a kid. It was easy. Nobody looked at me twice. When I finally got caught, I got off easy. I thought it was because I was essentially a good kid with good grades, but looking back, it's pretty clear that being white was just as important. I can think of a half dozen other moments, indiscretions that could have wrecked my life if I weren't white. I have been protected from consequences and given chances and opportunities that I didn't realize were not given to other people of color. Even more invisible to me for most of my life was that the society I live in, the richest country in the history of the world, that wouldn't be that wealthy were it not for the exploitation, plundering of the lives and labor of black people, black men and women throughout history. Also other people of color, but especially indigenous peoples, but I'm going to focus on black people right now. In so many ways, that society continues to take care of me. And if I just putter along and do nothing about it, I'm as racist as the society that I'm living in. Not because I personally hate people of color, but because my life is easier when theirs is hard. That is not a black problem. That is a white problem. That is my problem. A slave owner wrote, "All men are created equal," and in one of our founding documents, and everyone just got comfortable with that. That poisonous contradiction plays itself out again and again throughout American history. Civil uprisings by black people are a fact of American life. And yet you would think that it would become clear that there is something fundamentally wrong. But instead, it's talked about over and over as if these are isolated, crazy incidents where black people lose their minds because they don't know what's good for them. And afterwards, almost nothing happens. In 2006, the FBI reported that white supremacists were infiltrating police departments throughout the country. And if anything was done about that, if that even came to be seen as something that something should be done about, I'm not aware of it. But over the last 10 years or so, audio recordings and cell phone footage have made it pretty impossible to deny that black people get murdered by the police in situations where white people have nothing to fear. Being pulled over by a traffic stop, playing in a public park, hanging out in your own backyard, sleeping in your own bed. And on top of that, we now have video evidence of police provoking violence at peaceful protests, of using chemical weapons on American citizens who are, one would think, simply practicing what we are told is a universal right to free speech and freedom to assemble. It would be naive to think that this is new, that previous protests weren't treated the same way. That is not a black problem. That is a white problem. And if I do nothing, that is my problem. Obviously, a first step is to listen to black people, to give them room to speak, hear what they say, respect what they say, and recognize that that speech, speaking up, is a form of labor that is particularly difficult for people for whom it is harder simply to live a bearable life. Hearing what people of color have to say is crucial, but we can't make black people do all the talking. We can't put the responsibility for changing the system on the shoulders of people of color when that system is designed to prevent them from changing it. That is a whole other form of do-nothing racism. That is white people not taking responsibility for cleaning up their own shit. So speaking as a white person to other white people, do something. Do whatever you can. March and protest, donate to anti-racist causes. When a friend or coworker says something racist, Speak up, and if you are uncomfortable doing that, learn how to do that. Vote for candidates of color. Vote for candidates who say they will prioritize racial equity, and then pay attention. Make sure they do something about it. Voting is the bare minimum, but if every white person did that bare minimum, things would change. Amplify the voices of people of color, because that is something that we, white people, can definitely do. And I hope that that is what I am doing right now, because this is my problem and I need to do something.